Hi guys, welcome to this new video on Node Express MongoDB tutorial series. In this video, I'll talk about how we can protect our routes for the nodes. So currently this file nodes route.js contains these routes for the getting nodes, for creating node, for getting node by ID, updating and deleting. So what we want to do is, in the last video, I implemented these two functions for sign up and login. So users should log in first before they can actually fetch the data from the database, and currently our data is the nodes. Okay, so I'll be creating a middleware that will be added over here before this get nodes controller, and that will make sure that user is login or not. And if the user is login, then we will navigate to this controller function, and then we will be able to get the nodes from the database. Okay, so currently you can see that this is the API slash API slash nodes, and if I just click on the send, you will see that it is fetching the nodes from the database even though I have not logged in my user. Okay, and on the MongoDB side, I have actually removed all the user because I want to create users from start. So if I refresh this page, you will see that the 0 users exists. Okay. So first of all, let me go ahead and create a new user. So this is the sign up API which I created in the last video, and name, email, password, and the password confirmation. So I'll click on send, and it will return me this status success, and this is the new user being created, name, email, and the ID of user, and now the JWT token which is being returned. And I'll be using this JWT token to fetch and detect that whether the user is logged in or not. So currently for login, I will be using the same JWT token which I used to create using the secret key. So this is the login. I'm using the same credentials which I have added over here, admin@mail.com and hello world. So I'll just send. So we are actually logged in, and this is our access token that we will be using to fetch the data from our database, and mainly the data is nodes currently in our system. Okay, so now let's go ahead in our project, and I'm going to create a new controller in the auth controller. So just like the login function above, I'll be exporting a new function, and I will name it protect data equals to async, and then request, response, next, and this. Okay. So inside it, I will just write the next for now. So let's go to our nodes routes now, and here I will be importing my controller which I have created, which is the auth controller. So I will write the const, and inside it, you can see that in this users route, we actually imported this auth controller, and I'll be copying this line. So let's paste it over here, and rather than actually using the sign up and login, I will be importing the protect data route. Okay, so this is the function that I will be using before this get nodes function, the controller actually. So this is the middleware that will make sure that the user is successfully logged in, and if it is successfully logged in, then we will go ahead and move the to this controller get nodes function to fetch the data from the database. Okay, so this has been added, and we can add the same middleware for other routes as well, like the create node, get node by ID, update. But for now, just leave it over here, and I'm going to save this file. Let's go to the auth controller, and this is the function that I'll be writing most of the code in this video. So the first of all, what I need to do is, you remember that in our Postman, when we log in, we get the result, and in the result we are getting this auth token. So currently Postman is our front-end client-side application that we can assume, and when we create a front-end app, we mainly store such kind of token in the cookie storage or a local storage. But currently we don't have any front-end app, so we will have to use this auth token whenever we will be logging our user again and again, and it will be regenerated over here based upon the secret key and the user ID. So now what we need to do is, I will be passing some authorization token, this token, whenever this get nodes API gets called. So it means that I can go to this headers, and here I can add my authorization token which I have got after login user. Okay, so I'll go to this get nodes API and I will be creating a new key here, and I'm going to name it authorization, and the value would be, I will first start with the bearer, and then after this I will paste this auth token that I have got after logging user. All right, and let's save this file. And if I go to my code, let's try to log this here first, whether we are actually successfully getting the authorization token or not. So this is coming from the headers, and then we have this authorization. Okay, and let's try to print this first, and let's go here. Let's wait for DB to be connected, and I'm now going to click on the send button, and it should actually show all the notes because I have not added any kind of validations for checking if the user is successfully logged in or not. So this is the notes, and if we go to the terminal, we should see that auth token here. So you can see that the bearer, and this is the auth token. So in the get notes API, we are successfully fetching this authorization token which is being sent from the postman. Okay, so I will just be just unchecking it, and there is a quick way to add that. I'll go to the authorization, I'll click on the bearer token, and here actually I can add that auth token which I pasted from there. Okay, if I save it and if I send again, it will work as it is. Okay, it's just another way of doing it, and it is a recommended way. You can see it is printed here. Okay, so now if I go to the header, you will see that it is automatically over here added. I did not have to add over here, which I added here, which is a duplicate key now. So I'll just be removing it because this is coming from my authorization page. Okay, so now let's go ahead, and we have got the authorization, and you can see that first value is the bearer and the second value is this value. So we need to fetch this value from this whole string. So first of all, what I need to do is I need to check if the authorization token exists or not. So I'll be writing the headers dot authorization and headers dot authorization, and I can write a function of JavaScript like the starts with bearer. Okay, and after that I can add all my logic inside it, but before that let me add a error handling. If the token auth token and the bearer does not exist, then I will simply return that you are unauthorized. Okay, and this is the extension of VS Code tab 9 AIS instant which I'm using. That's why it is suggesting me some code, and I think it is suggesting right code. So I'll just hit tab and it will select the suggested code over here. So it will just return the 401 and failed and you are unauthorized. So I'll just save this file. So now let's come inside the if function, if condition actually, and inside it I will move further. So now we need to separate our bearer with this auth token, and I will write const token equals to request dot headers, and it will be split. I don't need this code for now, and it has splitted, and in the second index of the array we will get this token. Okay, and then we will be checking if the token actually exists or not in the second index of this array or not. So I will just be writing if the token does not exist, then here I will again return the same error message which I returned over here, that you are unauthorized. And rather than actually giving this message, I can change this message that access token is missing or invalid. I'm not checking validation, it's just the missing. Okay, so this is what I have already done. And after the if condition, if it does not return anything, it means that we have this bearer and authorization token exists, and the second index of the array actually contains the token. Okay, now we need to check if the token that is passed from the client side, currently it is over postman, is right or wrong. So JSON web token, which I'm already using and imported at the top, and it provides a function called verify, and I can use it and I can write the verify, and inside it I can actually give it a token. And the second param I need to give is the env variable which I created over here, and this is the JWT secret, and this is the secret that I used to actually create the auth token while signing up and also while login. Over here you can see I'm using this JWT secret over here. All right, and here I can write the process.env.jwt secret, and if I write something, you can see that it will give us a callback function. When it gives us a callback function, it means that we cannot use async await. So we if it were providing dot then, if it was returning promise, we could use the then function as well, but since it is not returning any promise, so we'll just be writing a callback function inside it. So the callback function will be like the async, and the first param would be the error and the decoded token. Okay, like this, and let me save this, and inside it I will be writing all my logic now, and I'll first check if there is an error, then I will be returning the same response that this is an invalid token. And this tab 9 AI assistant is awesome. It is automatically suggesting me stuff based upon the context I'm writing. So if there is no error, then I will move further. Okay, so remember the steps that we are following. We are actually validating each and everything, and it is very important when you actually to make the security of your backend application. So now inside it I have got, so first of all we have this decoded token. Let's try to output this decoded token, that what it contains. Let me add a string before it, so decoded token, so we have an idea, and this is the value of this console log. Let's save it. I'm going to remove this first console log to so we don't have any confusion. Now let's go to our postman, and I'm going to hit this get notes API. I'm just waiting for DB connection to be successfully made, and let's go to postman, and this is the notes API, and let's save it. Let's send, and it is successfully returning the data. Uh, and now you can see that it is actually returning this decoded token, and it contains the ID. It contains when that token was generated and when this token is going to be expired. Okay, so this is the ID of user, and this is very important because we will be we after login we have to fetch the data of the user, and in order to fetch the data of user we have to have some kind of its reference, and currently the best reference is the user ID, because on the dashboard after login we might have to show the name of user at the top, nav bar and the profile page, and show the settings to the users, and based upon that user ID we will be fetching a particular data with respect to that ID, okay, for the users. So now here after this is done, decoded token, I will be finding that particular user. So it is suggesting me that you need this user, so decoded token.id, and it will return the user, and after that I will be checking if user exists. There is a chance that this ID is a string, but a user with this ID does not exist. Okay, there is a chance. So then I will be writing the if condition, and inside it I will simply be returning an error message that this user does not exist. So I'll be writing user with ID with this ID does not exists. Okay, so this will be returned, and after this if condition we are actually reaching into the final steps of our this controller middleware function. So let's move further now, and one of the last thing that we have to do now is to verify the password. uh, there is a chance that you are actually already logged in, and the you might want to fetch the notes from the API. But during this process, there is a chance that a user might change his password, which is the API which we will be building in upcoming videos. So I just want to make sure that the password of this user does not change, so we are successfully able to get the notes from the API. Okay, so let's say that you have a brother or a sister that you have shared your credentials with them, and you have changed the password and they are already logged into the dashboard. So they will be fetching this notes API, and you want to inform them that I have changed the password. They should not be able to get the data of the notes. So in that case, we should actually make sure that and verify if the password is not changed or not. Okay, so the first one is the currently we don't have any built-in function, so I'm going to create an instant method. So I've already shown you what is an instant method, so I'll just go to the user model and I'll come down, and this is the instant method that I created. This particular instant method automatically gets loaded, but we will be creating a method that we have to manually trigger that. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to write the user schema dot methods, and then I can write the verify password, and I can name anything to it. So function, and then I can give it a JWT token or a timestamp. So I'll be writing the timestamp that when this token was generated. Okay, so the logic I'm trying to implement is that you remember that in the console log we are actually printing this IAT, which is the timestamp when this was generated, and this will be passing from the controller to this function. And I will also be maintaining another property in this user model, and that will store that when that auth token was generated. So in the login page, so I'll be creating a new property over here. So I will just name it password, uh, and I can password changed date, and the type of it would be the date. Okay, so in the users model, when I will sign up and log in, this password change date will be stored, and I can match this password changed date with this IAT number, and I can check if it is greater than this changed password. It means that password was changed. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a new user first before actually going into this instant method. So let's go ahead and in the postman, and I'm going to create a new user, and I'm going to pass this property as well, which I have generated here. This one, password changed date. Okay, so here I will sign up with the, so I will change the name of email because this is the unique, and here I will be writing the password change date, and its value should be in this format. Like the first one has to be the year, and then we have the month, and then we can give it any date. Okay, and there is something wrong, I missed this colon, so this has been added. Now let's send, and this user should be generated, and it is returning me this password change date with this format. And this format is because I gave the type date to this variable in my model here, the date. Okay, so let's now log in with it, and I'm going to log in with the admin1. This is the email that I have used over here. All right, and let's log in one, let's send, and this is the new auth token that is generated. Let me copy this auth token, and I'm going to paste over here because it has been changed. And let's save this, and now let's go and let's fill up this function. We have now this dot password changed data exists in this object. So here, first of all, I will check if this dot password changed date exists or not. Okay, and if this exists, it means that there is a password got changed, so there is a chance. So otherwise we will just return the false from this instant method of this schema. And then I'm going to write the convert date, and after that I can actually get the time, get time from this, and it will not be matching the exact time that is existing in this JWT timestamp. So I need to divide it by 1000, because I think that this JWT timestamp is in the seconds, and this is going to return us in milliseconds. So in order to convert the milliseconds into seconds, I'm actually dividing it into by 1000. And let's, to avoid any error, I'm going to convert it into the percent function. Okay, so now we have got the convert date function, and here I can return the convert date is greater than JWT timestamp. Okay, and if it returns true, it means that the password got changed, and if it's not, then it means the password did not change. So that's it for this function, and I'm gonna go to my auth controller, and here I'm going to validate that. So in this user object, which is coming from this user.find by ID, we can actually query that instant method that we have just created. So I can have the user dot, and then I can write the verify password. Okay, so it has detected, and then I'm going to pass the decoded token dot IAT, which is returned from there. Okay, and then I'm going to, it is not returning any promise, it's just a simple function within our model, and I can write the password verified. So after this I can check if the password verified, then I'm going to return this error message. So I can write this error message. So let's copy this status and error message from here. So failed user changed password, please log in again. Okay, so I think that's fine, and let's save this file. It will be automatically formatted because I'm using the prettier extension of the VS Code. So outside this if condition, now if it returns and if it passes, then I will just be writing the request.user equals to user, and after this I'll just be returning the next. And these are all the steps we have returned to actually verify if user is logged in or not, and these are very important. And the reason I have actually stored the user in the request object, because in the upcoming videos we need to implement other protected routes, reset password, and we also have to add few more functions in this controller, and in that case we will be needing this user object. Okay, so this next function means that simply go to the next middleware. So it will be going, and we don't need this next actually because we are handling the errors above. And let's save this file now, and I need to test its features now. If everything works well and we are able to log in successfully and get the data of the notes using the auth token that we generate through login. Okay, so now in the postman, let's get the notes, and the notes are being fetched, and it means that it reached to this next function. That's why the notes are being fetched. Now let's try to generate one error. So I'm going to actually change this auth token a bit. So let's say this one, I have just removed one item, and let's send. And now you can see that it has returned that invalid token. That means that we cannot access the nodes, and this is what we wanted. So let's actually revert this. It is actually reverted. Now let's send, and now the token is valid, so it means that we can access the nodes. So this actually validation is being handled from here, jsonwebtoken.verify. We can actually check if the user ID exists or not. We can also do that, and I will guys let you guys do it yourself. And I think we are done with this implementation. It was quite a long video, and I hope that you have understood each and every step of this video. So in the next video I will talk about user roles for the nodes. That let's say that we have an admin role for the user, and we have the user role for the user. We have some other roles for these nodes. So currently what we will be implementing is that the all the nodes will be visible to all the users after login, but only admin should be able to update and delete the nodes. Okay, so we will be adding a middleware function to the delete route here. If I go to the nodes, and this is the delete controller, and before this we will be passing a middleware function that will handle if the user have a proper access rights and permission and a proper admin role, then we will let it to delete this particular node. And we have created this protect data. We can copy this function in all of the other routes, like the create node, get node by ID, patch, and the user should be able to log in first properly with all the conditions that I have just matched to actually create node, update node, get node by ID, and also delete the node, which I will be doing in the next video. I hope that you have got an idea, and see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for watching.